some bad news. I knew it. I love when he does that.
Well, once you hit rock bottom, the only way to go is up. So good luck, okay? Good luck.
You say rock bottom, but, like, it just seems like things keep getting worse. What is rock bottom? Who decides what's the bottom of all this? I mean, seriously, you go, okay, today is Friday, and I woke up in Cleveland, and I'm going, how much worse can it get?
Don't count me down, you piece of shit. Shut your mouth. Look at me, Tony. Look at me. I want you to fire me. You fucking mark. Fire me. Fire me. How you think they gonna feel when they introduce your boys as the new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions? I don't know who's. They might be cheering. Yeah. They might be booing. Yeah. Little kids might be crying. Oh, yeah. We got grown men out there crying. Yeah. But they still might be hating on the Usos. Hating on us. Why? Because we went out there and did what we said we was going to do. Yeah.
Buffalo, all your babbling is interfering with my machine. So for the next few minutes, please just do me a favor and kindly shoot.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 328 of the Hoots Podcast. It's Thursday, September 22nd, as we record this here in the Good Bird Studio in Chicago, Illinois. It's just truly Joshie Lopez. Make sure to follow me on Twitter if you like, at the Hoots Podcast. Pretty simple deal there. If you want to check out some stuff I do on Instagram, you can either go to Josh Lopez Media or Josh Lopez Music. I know I've been kind of slacking on the guitar covers, but works when you're covering 20 wrestling shows a week, you really get some time to yourself. So I got to get back on my guitar grind, if you know what I mean. I want to thank Patrick Fritz for coming on the show last week and shooting the shit with us. He did a great job. You can follow him at Twitter at RatedPWF. As always, the Hoots Podcast comes to you free of charge every single Thursday on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast from. We don't have a Patreon account. I'm not going to charge you guys to listen to this. There's a lot of, let's say, lesser quality shows that charge you money for their content, and I feel like I still want to do you the service. Me and Brother Carter are very grateful for people who take time to watch or listen to any length amount of this podcast, and it really means a lot to me and Brother Carter. So we want to thank you for the support. It's your first time watching or listening to the podcast. We're also available on YouTube. Just type in the Hoots Podcast. It'll direct you to where you need to go. And make sure to check out my transcripts, if you will, at ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. I am not alone this week. Brother Carter is via satellite, so you will get a new edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. But I am joined by another co-host this week, the hot take master himself, at Second City Sam, the one and only Sam Pioppo. What's going on, Moose?
Oh, what's up, brother? How you been?
I'm doing wonderful. We're in that midst of the early part of the NFL season where people think they are the Nostradamus of football. And you can really tell on social media, Sam, who really played football, who did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I kind of fall into the category of who didn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to have an opinion. I'm not going to begrudge people having their Second Amendment rights and all that, but holy shit, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now, because we did get some football questions. I just want to get this out of the way. Having access to the all 22 doesn't make you a football expert. I'm going to throw that out there right now. So
yeah, I think you nailed that one.
This is also a life and professional wrestling podcast. We'll be going over our main event segment this week. What the hell is wrong with AEW? As I put the title of this week's episode, The Grand Slam Conundrum. So we got stuff to go over in the Mud Show. And then we're about 2.5 weeks away from Extreme Rules. We haven't really had a chance to really talk some WWE stuff, so I'm glad to have Sam here. And we can shoot the shit about that as well, see what's going on over there. So, Sam, you ready? Ready to answer some questions?
I'm ready, man. Let's get her going.
All right, let's get started with the Back Porch Q&A session. As always, there's no rules to the Back Porch Q&A session. Anything goes. You can ask us whatever you want. I mean, with just some common sense questions, you know. Like, I don't need to explain further, but like anything goes. And I'm very appreciative because it's not just our time to talk about the wrestling stuff, but it's life, it's sports, it's a whole bunch of shit. So I thank you for everybody who participates in the segment. And as I told Sam before we started recording, if he has questions he wants to implement in between, we could add those to the list as well. So let's get to this shit. All right, we're going to start off as we usually do with the good brother Chris Saletta at XTeam24 Saletta X. Congrats to your New England Patriots winning last week. Happy for you, brother. I know things are not going so swell with Boston sports today, so hopefully we can get some brighter days for you, my man.
Touchy subject.
Yeah. Oh, shit. How do you fumble good waterfall? I mean, oh boy. All right. His first question, he says, thoughts on Solo Sikoa forfeiting the North American Championship. This happened at the beginning of NXT this week. I have two different ways of looking at it from my point of view. What I'd like to see implements where you could have NXT matches or championship matches on Raw or SmackDown. Sure, I could. I think for me, why it made sense for him to forfeit, and Shawn Michaels said he was not eligible to be in the match in the first place. But they were also following through with the storyline before Solo made his first appearance at Clash of the Castle. Like, Carmelo and Solo were getting into a feud with each other. Shit changes. You know, people have different plans. And this type of situation happens. I guess a good thing for Solo, he never lost a match as a North American champion. He had a pretty solid match with Madcap Moss in last week's edition of SmackDown, and he's been doing some good stuff. I can understand why people would be frustrated by the decision. I just look at it from a more bigger picture standpoint. They're tying up a loose end with their storyline. Now they made the decision that they're going to put the title up in the ladder match at Halloween Havoc for NXT, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, man, I don't have a problem with it. If anything, it just gives Solo Sikoa a nice boost as he heads up to the main roster. Maybe not the greatest look for Carmelo Hayes, but you could always just argue that, you know, he wasn't expecting a Solo Sikoa match at that time. So I don't really think it's too big of a deal. People are kind of usually in the wrestling world are making a mountain out of a molehill. So I don't have a problem with it. I think it's just a way to boost Solo Sikoa and make him look legitimate.
I just don't know how you could be fucking morose when you wake up. Like, damn, you barely open your eyes and like you barely fucking took a shit, shower, do whatever you do in the morning, and you're already in the first minute. Like, what the fuck?
Get on it early.
I can understand people are not morning people and they don't want to go to certain jobs. I can totally get that, but it's just so weird how people like go on like rage fits on Twitter like 7:30 in the morning. I'm looking at this. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. It's brutal sometimes.
Good question there for Chris. This next one here is best writing book you ever read. Do you have a favorite book? I guess that's what he's asking here.
Favorite book? My favorite book of all time has to be The Green Mile.
That's a good one.
And I don't read too many books, so that one counted for me. And I love that book.
I don't read a lot of books either. I would have to say Heaven and Hell, My Life in the Eagles by Don Felder. That's probably my favorite book. My grandpa got me Eagles book. He got it at a flea market. Also, the Rosemount Horizon usually has flea markets. It's called Wolf's Flea Markets on Sundays in the parking lot of Allstate Arena. If you're in the Chicago area, I think you know what I'm talking about. And they had just like a regular flea market all across that big ass parking lot, and you got planes hovering over you. It's a pretty cool deal. You know,
I actually didn't know that went down over there. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, this has been going on since I was a kid. It's pretty cool deal. I've gone to a couple of those. And the cool thing, sometimes if people need to go to the bathroom, they let people go into the arena and like walk around and stuff. It's a pretty cool deal.
That is pretty cool.
Next question here. He says, when do you think a title will be put on Eddie Kingston? Is there a new championship that they could come up with? Because they're popping up with new ones every 2 weeks. I mean, oh God!
I don't need to see him with a championship.
At the same time, he's one of those characters that doesn't need a title.
No, he doesn't.
I could say maybe it's a consolation prize if Kingston wants to beat Moxley. Maybe I can see that, but even then, it's like.
No, I like Eddie Kingston on the mic as much as the next guy, but I mean, other than that, I don't really. I've never been too big on him. I have no problem with Eddie Kingston, but yeah, I'm not really interested in seeing him with a title.
Right. They got, and you get to this question too when you see other people on the roster, and then when they do become champions, you're like, okay, what's next? And does it mean anything when those people become champions? That's the issue that we're going to hit on later on in this segment. Let's see what we got here next. He says, do you think we'll see Nigel McGuinness at some point with Cole on SmackDown? I'll take this one first. I certainly hope so because I've had my fill of Corey Graves throughout the week. I've been consistent about this over the last couple of months or so. This dude's becoming more and more obnoxious as the weeks go by. If Kevin Dunn, because he's still there, if that's like his only little treat that he gets because everything post Mr. McMahon's been scrapped from his playbook and Kevin Dunn and stuff like that, and what he likes in the wrestling stuff. If the only thing he gets is that, he gets to produce the commentators he wants and who gets to be behind the booth. Bucky Beaver Boy, man, it ain't about you. It's about the fucking show. And sorry, Corey Graves doing his best JBL impression for the last 4 or 5 years is becoming a tired shtick. I don't know why Nigel wouldn't have the opportunity to be on SmackDown. Hell, NXT UK been scrapped. You have him for the fucking Level Up show. It's not cool. He's a good commentator, and him and Cole have done shows when they did those UK Championship Tournament specials. So I don't know why he isn't calling these shows with Michael Cole.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Nigel's one of those guys who just really knows the business, and he can walk you through a match, and you don't even need to really see it to understand what's going on. Nigel's the man, and I listened or I watched the special before UK came about with him and Cole doing the commentary, and it was spectacular, man. Like before Pat McAfee, that was the best Michael Cole had sounded in years. And I'd be down for it. I don't know about anyone else, but that'd be a great pairing for me.
Yeah, I get the whole stuff with him and Saxon bickering, but it's like, dude, why are you talking every 3 seconds? Like, Jesus Christ.
And the whole Corey Graves thing about the Miz and Dexter Lumis, him just screaming at the other 2 announcers just bothers the hell out of me.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. Thoughts on Saraya? I'll probably expand more on my thoughts in the main event segment, but if there's anything you want to add on to it.
I love Paige, man.
I love Paige too. My issue is not with her. I just want to make that perfect.
No, yeah. You know what? Here's all I'll say, and I'm sure we'll expand on it later. If she's happy and it's safe for her to do whatever it is she's going to do, if she's going to wrestle or not, we don't know yet, but probably, then go ahead and do it. I'm all about it. She deserves it.
Yeah, she's definitely in the grade 1 tier of waterfall for me. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. With an immaculate 4.0 GPA. That guy's a trip, man.
I love him.
Next question. How about this one? Are you more interested in The Rock versus Roman Reigns or Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes for WrestleMania next year?
That's tough.
I won't say that you stumped me here, Chris, but
yeah, that's a really good one, man.
You know what? I'll say I'm gonna say Roman and Cody Rhodes. Yes, I I'm totally down for box office and, having it at SoFi Stadium, the history with Rock and Roman Reigns. It's a match that could probably do more business than what Rock did with John Cena. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this stuff with the Rock and John Cena. I thought that was great. That WrestleMania 28 had like one of the highest gross events they ever did. For me, though, from a content point of view, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes on the microphone exchange is something in wrestling I've been waiting for a while since Cody came back. I had my concerns that maybe the fickle universe would turn on Cody once he returned, because it'd be like, I know how this fan base works. It's like, okay, the guy, had his nipple first in front of us at the Rosemont Horizon, and then, everybody's like, oh, he's going to become the champion, right? Like, he was going to be that guy. And then he comes back, and then you got guys like Kevin Owens picking up momentum, et cetera, the new hot flavor thing on the Triple H era. Like, oh, why these guys are not winning the Rumble instead of Cody Rhodes? And I don't want that to happen. I could forecast it, though. But for me, from a storytelling aspect, I don't know how you could go wrong with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Honestly, you can't go wrong either way with both of these matches. But for me, from a content point of view, I want to see Roman and Cody Rhodes.
I think I'd go the opposite. It's only because the story writes itself, really. The family thing, The Rock is the last piece of the NOI, however the hell you say their name, family. So the last piece of that family to try to knock Roman off his pedestal. Both Usos couldn't do it. Solo Sikoa didn't even try. I don't know. I just feel like it was The Rock, obviously one of the greatest of all time. Seeing him back with the best in the business right now would be just a clash of titans, and it would just, for me, that's just going to be spectacular if that is where they choose to go with it.
Right. Let's see what we got here next for Chris. He says, biggest surprise / disappointment in the NFL these first 2 weeks. Oof. Colts.
That's definitely a good one. Definitely a good one.
Oh, God, they got mollywops. I don't know what it is about Jacksonville. It surely ain't the Cons. Like, I don't know what it is with the Colts. They just play like sure ass in Jacksonville all the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is either about that. I mean, they've had, 3 different quarterbacks in 3 years, and none of them have done well.
Sam, the last 3 times they went to Jacksonville, it's been all shutouts.
Has it really?
I think I heard that stat there.
Holy shit. Wow. That's nuts. For me, I think I'm going the Bengals. I mean, I had them. I think in our little preview, I think I picked the Bengals to win the division, and so far they look minuscule as hell, man. Even on the offensive side of the ball, Burrow can't get her going. Mixon's not running the ball well. I think the Bengals have been the biggest disappointment for me.
Bengals are definitely a good choice. I'd say Broncos.
Yeah,
for me.
That's a good one.
I'm not going to go with the lame cliches that have been added towards Nathaniel Hackett. We all know what went wrong with that week 1 game. I'm just not impressed by their group. Poor Russell, man. Be careful what you wish for.
I love that guy, man, but I'm not sure that signing a 32-year-old Russell Wilson to a $200 and some odd million contract was really the best idea for them. And it's nothing against Russell or anything, but man, I don't know. That might be a big reach.
As far as on the positive end, I'd probably say Giants. The fact that they're 2-0 already at this point of the year, it's crazy. Yeah. By the end of this week, because they're on Monday Night Football, the Giants could be 3-0.
I got them winning, so
I don't think anybody expected that to start off the year.
The Raiders have been pretty brutal. Going on, not to go backwards, but the Raiders have been pretty. I mean, they're in the games that they lost, but they imploded against the Cardinals.
That game is one of those that deserved a tie, to be honest.
For sure.
That's a great question, Chris. I'm curious to see what your answers for that would be too. Any fantasy players you've been disappointed with on your teams? I can't answer this question because I'm not doing fantasy football this year, so I'll leave this to Sam.
So I am in a 10-man league with my friends, and so far for the first 2 weeks, I've scored 149 points and 159 points. So I am not disappointed with anybody on my team. Last week I had Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and that was like 80 points just by them. So I'm doing well, Chris. I'm doing well, man.
How about those Lions becoming an offensive juggernaut?
MCDC, baby.
Too bad the secondaries are always trash every year.
Baby steps for the Lions, my friend. Baby steps.
I love MCDC. He's the man. Love you, man.
I love him. He's awesome.
All right, next question here. Last one here from Sam. He says, Sam, what's been your favorite moment since Vince McMahon's departure?
Favorite moment, eh? That's a good question. For me, I think I'd have to go with the return of Karrion Kross. Because I was always a big believer in Kross. I know you were too. And seeing him come back, I think he's going to play a big role. He's kind of doing whatever backstage stuff right now, but I think he's going to play a big role very soon. And he's one of my favorites. So
I love that song. We got Chicago's Finest and Scarlett and back into the association. Very nice. Great 6'6".
Yes, very much.
I'm happy with Kross. I'm curious to see where things go with him and McIntyre. I don't know if that's going to be a long feud or not, but either way, Kross is about mind games. Where it goes with him, whether he wins the first match or whatever feud, really doesn't matter to me because his character is so above titles and shit like that. I'm not saying like he's all the way like a Bray Wyatt character, Sam, but when I look at Kross, it's like it's the only way you can go up from the Mad Max shit. You know what I mean? So even if he loses his first match to Drew McIntyre, it's not like some huge setback. You know what I mean? We have to establish what his character is and then see where it goes from here. But I am happy he is back for sure.
Big time.
Let's go to Chris, by the way. Thank you for the questions this week, as always. Let's transition to our good friend at Patrick Fritz at Rated PWF. He sent some questions this week as well. He said, reaction to the Tribal Chief versus Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. What you got, Sam?
I got no problem with it. It's going to be a hell of a match. Logan Paul has proved that he works his ass off to get to know this business and to learn his craft, and he's worked hard at it. I think it's going to be a hell of a match. And for those who are complaining about it, they're going to be the same ones that are tweeting how good that match is after it's done.
Well, these are the same people that are going to mark out tomorrow night for Action Bronson. So look what we're working with here. If you need to be sold on this match, go watch the press conference. That's all I'm going to say. I had some thoughts of like some audio pieces I wanted to add to the podcast this week. Sometimes I like to add some production stuff and add stuff that fits with the week of the shows. That's the charm of the audio version of the shows. You should get it, by the way. It's a well-rounded podcast, I'll say the least. And I'm not just saying it because I'm here. I'm saying this subjectively. But anyways, if you watch the press conference, Logan carries himself fine. I thought the points he made there was perfectly fine. Him ripping on Roman about being the football player and not only wanted to be a wrestler and stuff. I thought that was good. The Tribal Chief's the Tribal Chief. I mean, I could put him over to the cows come home, but there's like 100 other shows for it's like just throw the ones up. That's all you have to do. So if you did watch his WrestleMania performance, the match he had with The Miz at SummerSlam, the guy could go. It should be good, and nobody's going to put on bigger performances on a bigger stage than the Tribal Chief, so I'm not really worried about it.
No, not at all.
Worried about it. Make sure to take out the O and the AHT.
Respect to Mr. Pat McAfee. I watched him on College Game Day last Saturday. Man, that guy's just good at whatever he does. He really is.
Yeah, he's a unicorn. All right, next question for Pat. He says, are we going to see the Saudi shows being more about who the Prince wants or more of what Triple H wants? I think it's a balance. I don't know how long this deal is with Crown Jewel. I know this shows an acquired taste. The idea of it's acquired taste for people. Outside their politics and their shitty behavior stuff out there, I don't think countries should be excluded from getting to enjoy wrestling shows. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that Crown Jewel serves no purpose, but I don't think it's always been just what the Prince wants. We had a killer match last year with Edge and Seth Rollins, the Hell in a Cell match. So I think it's going to be a mixture of both. I mean, unless we're seeing Ken Shamrock or X-Pac having a match or something like that, because I know that was the whole shtick that the Prince wants these old Attitude Era guys to come back all the time. Outside of that, I think it's a mixture of both. And the best part about these Crown Jewel shows are the fans at the shows. I won't say they match the energy of the UK Cardiff crowds or stuff like that, but those shows in Saudi Arabia, the crowds, they care. They want to have a good time. So that for my answer, I think it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm right there with you. For the last few Saudi shows, I feel like have been better than the first couple. Yeah. And I don't know really what to base that on or why that is or anything. So I got no problem either way. I think WWE is treating this like a big show, and I think that's what the Prince wants. Call it blood money, call it whatever you want. The shows have been killer for me the last few times, so I'm all about it. Whatever Triple H or whatever the Prince wants, let's do it.
There's something there was a comment this week made about the Crown Jewel show that we're gonna hit on later on because other people know how to keep their fucking mouth shut. Last question from Pat here. He said, week 2 NFL surprises. Any for the past week, what surprised you from games wise or performances or stuff like that? What caught your eye from the last week?
That's a good question. You know what? I'll tell you the surprise that I actually have 2, and you might have the same ones, but the comeback by the Jets in the last 2 minutes of the game against the Browns was some pretty killer shit. The Joe Flacco looked pretty damn good, and then obviously the other one was the 21-point fourth quarter comeback by the Miami Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens. That was just watching those 2 games finish on Red Zone were just totally insane, man.
I'll tell you this from a sarcastic point of view. I was surprised that people are convinced that the Packers are back after week 2.
Are you though really surprised?
No.
Well, they beat the Bears. Everybody look out.
Yeah. They're going to be an offensive juggernaut. Let's see how their run game works against the Bucs D-line. We'll get back to earth. God. For me, other surprises, I mean, that's again, from a performance review, I was just surprised by how, sloppy Denver is. I'll give Lovey credit. His team fights, and it should be an interesting game on Sunday for us when the Texans come to Soldier Field. But I know they've had some injuries, but they got to either look outside the team to get some more juice for their wide receiving core or something. It's not a good look right now.
No.
Let's ride.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good one, by the way. All right, let's go to Mike at Main Event Swerve down in Houston, Texas. good brother sends questions every week. He says, "Dear Hoot or Hoots, if there's any honorary / Hoots this week." He says, here's some questions for the Back Porch Talk. Number one, okay, so War Games is official. Who is in, and could you see NXT getting involved in their own match or cross-promotional one? No, I don't see NXT being involved with this. I originally had this plan to talk in the WWE segment, but we can talk about it here. I was pretty excited for this week to see the announcement that War Games is going to be the feature attraction for Survivor Series this year. I think it's going to be awesome. Of course, getting here Ozzy, Osbourne, Sandra, Raw is a nice touch as well. Yes. So I don't think NXT will be involved. Me and Pat proposed this idea of doing the Bloodline against the Judgment Day with Seth Rollins leading the Judgment Day against the Bloodline. So if I do a War Games match, that'd be my pick for me.
Yeah, that'd be a killer match. I don't think NXT is going to be involved, but the involvement of War Games at Survivor Series, I don't know why it hasn't been implemented earlier, man. I love the War Games matches every year they do it, and I don't even care who's in the match. Honestly, they're going to have two of them. There's going to be a men's and women's, and it's going to be great. So I can't wait for that.
Would have been something if Adam Cole stood around in the Undisputed Era. Could have been involved.
Got to go hang out with your buddies.
Yeah, grass ain't always greener on the other side. Next question. He says, "Have you seen the Untold series on Netflix, particularly the Operation Flagrant Foul one about corrupt NBA ref gambling? Is the league forever tainted to you?" Mike, I have not watched it. I've heard of it. I know they're trying to do different specials and stuff like that. I think the Lakers just came out with a new one, I think, right? A couple weeks ago, because they weren't happy with the interpretation of the whatever the fuck that HBO show was. Anyways, they had that. ESPN just dropped the Jeter series. I need to watch that. Jeter was one of my favorite players growing up as a kid outside of Chicago sports.
Hot take, pal. Overrated.
I would say he's the greatest shortstop of all time, but I did enjoy his play. Let's see. We did The Last Dance. As far as the league being tainted, I thought it was tainted even before refs gambling got involved with it, to be honest with you. The stuff with the super teams, LaQueen going to Miami to start the Big Three, I thought that really took away my fun of the NBA for what it was. It's just, and then everything that came with that was just drama queens who need fucking rest days and Kyrie Irving and his fucking conspiracy theory bullshit. One day it's the earth is flat. The next is he needs to stay home for other issues that have nothing to do with him and his play. It's so ridiculous.
That guy is a true fucking McNugget, man.
Yeah. He wouldn't last one season here.
No.
Well, what about you? Has any of this stuff kind of take away your enjoyment from the NBA, or are you not a fan?
I'll tell you what. When I was, I don't remember how old I was, but it was the Ben Gordon, Kirk Heinrich, Ben Wallace days of the Bulls. I watched, for some reason, I watched them 24/7. Whenever they were on, I wouldn't miss a Bulls game. Right. But right around the time LeBron made that announcement and they started the Big Three shit, and now everybody has these super teams. Basketball, from my point of view, plummeted. I stopped watching. I stopped giving a damn. And now I find myself, if the Bulls do well, great, cool. I'm rooting for them, but I don't watch them, and I have no interest in watching any basketball these days. It's just not for me anymore.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I'll put you to the side because your hot takes are good. But the hot take culture of the Stephen A. Smiths of the world and Skip, I'm a jackass, Bayless, those people also keep me away from the NBA as well.
Yeah. Stephen A. is so insufferable sometimes. And Skip plays this character to to a T to where it is just he's so, especially during the NFL season too. He's intolerable to watch. I can't do it. He's terrible.
By the way, Boston Celtics, figure your shit out.
Get to it, Pat. Figure it out for him.
Freaking Nimrods. All right. Next one. Speaking of warlike games, who wins? That's funny. Speaking of warlike games, who wins Sunday? Your team bearing down on defense or my team, the Texans? Will it be a – this is a great question. Will it be a field goal bowl?
It just might, man. I'll tell you what, I have the Bears winning, but I'm not confident in that at all. You know, it could easily go the other way. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I think Justin Fields is going to throw the ball a lot. And I got let's say 23-16 Bears.
I got the Bears winning a close one as well. I don't think this is going to be like a shootout or anything. I'll say this for Davis Mills. I don't watch a lot of Texas games full depth because what I'm watching is mostly red zone stuff. But you see when they air highlights of it, it's always like him throwing like 15-yard actions, 25 this. I'm not coming here and saying David Mills is going to be like a baller or anything, but
he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, he's not somebody you should sleep on, you know.
No, not at all.
This game will definitely be one on whether Lovey has any acknowledgement of the clock and time management. So we'll have to see how that works.
I'll tell you what, I've always had a soft spot for Lovey Smith. I root for him wherever he goes, but Sunday ain't the day, Lovey. Sorry, pal.
Lovey's the man.
He is.
Let's see. And please, for the love of God, if you have something working, stop going with Jeff Sweets and fucking passing in the first 3 plays of your next drive. I don't understand. You have a drive where you're running the freaking football and then you're passing nonstop like fucking Matt Canada. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, by the way, to the Steelers fans, really quick, if you really thought that Mitch was going to be there to have stats like Justin Herbert and et cetera, you're fooling yourself. That's not why they brought the guy in the first place, you fucking idiots. Anyways, but honestly, go back to me. It's like that Austin drive they had to take out the lead in the first, they go straight to Matt Nagy. Pass.
I about lost my damn shit sitting on my couch. They're running the ball so well. David Montgomery carries that whole drive. What do you do? Come out of your second drive? You fucking go 3 and out with 3 different pass attempts. It's lousy play calling.
Hey, did you see that video of the Bears fan kicking his girl out?
Yeah, I did see that. Oh, good old poor Bears fans, man. We deserve better than this shit.
Oh, even Waterfall's the victim of being a Bears fan. It's like what the hell? He's like, I known you for 2 months. This has been my team for 20 years.
Oh, that man, that's a man who's been through some pain.
Get that poor man some season tickets or something.
Get him some season tickets and a shot of Malort.
Yes, exactly. and a woman that's not really like, I don't know why you cheer for this team. I don't know why I told you they're going to lose.
That just makes everything so much worse.
You know? All right, next question. If you could only pick one Chicago area band to wave a generational flag or banner for, who gets to clap? Smashing Pumpkins or Fall Out Boy? That's a good question.
I go Smashing Pumpkins.
I'll go Smashing Pumpkins as well. Honorable mention to Plain White Tees.
REO Speedwagon, too.
Yep, REO Speedwagon. Do we count Chicago? Chicago says it's a Chicago name or no?
Nah, I'm good on Chicago.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Shout out to Billy Corey. Billy Corey is the man. So I'll say Smashing Pumpkins. But Fall Out Boy had some good songs, but they drifted off after their first little breakup or whatever happened.
Yeah, I liked some of their early music, but nothing really for the past decade. I haven't enjoyed any of it.
Right. Next question. Also, what will Billy Corgan be remembered for? The Pumpkins or pumping life back into the NBA? Not the NWA. Pumpkins, obviously. The fact that Billy Corgan can still have a pumpkin store and sell out Madison Square Garden in these big damn arenas is really something, you know.
Yeah.
Don't be wrong. I think he's done some good stuff for the wrestling business, and it's good that NWA exists. But for legacy first, it has to be the Pumpkins.
Absolutely, the Pumpkins. Billy Corgan's the man. You know, with what he's doing with NWA right now, that's awesome. But come on, man, smashing pumpkins.
Yes. All right. Next question. After seeing this impressive woman in Impact and indie shows, what do you think about Mickie James' opponent this past week on Impact, Hyon? I'll take this one. I've seen Hyon a couple of times on Dark and Elevation. Yes, the shows are still in existence, in case anybody's watching at home. I'm impressed. I mean, she got some good size to her. I think she has to be at least my height, at least 6'1" or around that area. So she's tall. She works well in the ring. I enjoyed the matches she had with Mickie. Hyon has about they're saying that last week, like 8 and 10 years of experience. She was trained by Booker T. I haven't heard her cut promos. The only time I've ever seen her like on the shows has just been in squash matches or stuff on Dark, you know, or Elevation. So I've been impressed. I just need to see more of her. She's signed to a company and her cutting more promos. Like, that's all I can say to it. I've liked what I've seen so far, and shout out to Impact, man. At least put out some better in-ring quality shows. If anybody should deserve the Booker of the Year award, it's Scott D'Amore this year.
Isn't Mickie James doing the whole retirement thing?
Yeah, I think that's a bit.
Is it?
Yeah. But shout out to Mickie, my GOAT. Yes. Let's see what else got here for Mike. With 6 division titles in 7 years and 3 World Series appearances, can we call the Houston Astros a dynasty already? How about a no?
Hard pass.
Hard pass. Nothing else needs to be said after that. Mike, I think you know why.
Come on, man. Take out the asterisks, huh? Come on. No.
Cheating bums.
Go get your garbage cans and get the hell out.
I need to make a soundbite of that. That's tremendous. Who will be the next former NXT UK wrestler to hold NXT Gold? That's a good question. Ilya Dragunov just returned to NXT.
Yes, he did.
It was nice to see. Dragunov had to relinquish his title at NXT UK before the brand disbanded because of an injury. So it's nice to see it come back. It looks like it'll be Braun Breaker against Jordan Devlin against Dragunov in a triple threat at Halloween Havoc. No problems there on my end. That should be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
As far as UK towns, I can't say Pretty Deadly because they're already now the tag team champions. So I would say that them. But I'll go with either Blair Davenport, by the way, underrated Waterfall, or 2, I'll say maybe Tyler Bate gets a shot at the North American Championship. How about that?
How about it? That'd be cool. I'm going to take a wild card pick, and I can't even remember what they call him now, but I'm still going to call him what I know him as, and that's Jordan Devlin.
Yeah.
I think he's awesome. I think if he's given a shot at maybe like a North American title, did they announce who's in the ladder match yet, or is it a qualifying?
It's qualifying matches right now.
Okay, gotcha. Well, if he's in there, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they went with him.
By the way, speaking of NXT UK talent, shout out to Nathan Frazier. That guy is pretty good.
Yes.
He is a spot monkey, but he's a good spot monkey. All right. Pig Damage Control Waterfall. Bailey, Dakota, or Io? I say Io because, wow. All right. Well, this is all subjective, obviously. I probably have to be the one to take this answer because Sam has spoken for it. So I'm going to go with Dakota Kai for me. That'd probably be my pick. It's a close one because I could go with Bailey as well, but I'll go with Dakota just for a different pick. Yes.
Definitely Bailey.
All right. 2 more questions here from Mike. He says, after 2 weeks of a tie, then a rough loss, are the Colts turning? Oh man, are the Colts turning into the new Jaguars? They lost to the Jags bad last week. That's kind of a stretch. I don't think we're gonna attach.
Yeah.
You
know what? I feel so bad for Matt Ryan. I mean, that team, that front office sold him a bill of goods, and he bought it. And Matt Ryan's a great dude, man. He really is.
Maybe Matt Ryan should went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll probably be cheering for Kenny there too.
I'm sure they would.
After hometown people in drafts. No, they're not the Jaguars, but it's not a good look right now. It's not a good look for Frank Wright either because you got embarrassed because the Jaguars eliminated from the playoffs last season, and then to perform like that, that's just not a good look.
His seat could become hot real quick if he doesn't figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. Last question here for Mike. He says, after Souls Dakota's interference at Clash of Castle, what is the craziest Samoan family scenario you can think of to interfere and keep the titles on Roman Reigns? Oh, boy. That just depends on who the opponent is and stuff like that. I honestly, is Naomi joining the Bloodline something that's crazy or out of nowhere? I don't know, maybe.
I don't need to see that.
You would think she'd probably interfere more with the Usos than Roman Reigns. So that's hard, man. What if, like, how about this? It has nothing to do with titles, but let's say, like, The Rock's mom acknowledges Roman Reigns.
That would be insane.
Dwayne, you got to acknowledge your tribal chief. I'm worried about your health.
Oh, man. Now, there's a story.
Yes.
That's tough.
There's a lot of creative ways you could go around it, especially if you do Rock and Roman Reigns. I'm curious to see if they ever tell that story, how that actually comes out. But there's an idea out there in WWE if you want to do it.
I got one for you.
But yeah.
You're going to love it.
All right.
Bring back Nia Jax.
Oh, God. She'd be perfect for the dangerous women's division in AEW, if anything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she'll crack some skulls over there, man.
Yeah. Have her and Britt Baker and who can bleed first.
Oh, God.
Who could break their nose first match.
As soon as I saw that spot last night, I knew it right away.
Night. Oh, that's a good one. That popped me. Mike, thank you for the questions this week, as always, brother. We're flying through these ones, actually. So I appreciate you guys for the questions, as always. Sam, was there anything you wanted to ask me as we're doing this, or no?
I think we're good, man.
All right, we got a couple more left from Mike. Not Mike, my bad. Nate the Great. Yeah, Psycho Nagiri. Shout out to him. I know he's not happy right now with Kirk Cousins after that Monday Night Football performance, but I'll tell you right now, one of the games of the week to watch. I'll be honest, this week's slate in the NFL is not that great, to be honest with you, from an entertainment point of view. But don't be surprised if the Lions and Vikings are the best game of the week this week. That's going to be a shootout.
My man Nate. Sorry to say this, pal, but I picked the Lions.
Oh, man.
Upset alert.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal for Nate here. Let's see what he has here first. Am I the only one who finds it tough to take a team seriously that says, "Scissor me, daddy"? Again, going back to what I said earlier, man, it's an acquired taste. Either you're for the Acclaimed and what they do, or you're not. I'm not going to begrudge people if they're not. I'm going to say why maybe it's not something to take seriously. I get where you're coming with the question, but I enjoy them more for what they do in the ring. That's usually my barometer. It's one thing to be like a dumb gimmick like pockets or Dan Clanson or that fucking pizza guy they had last week flipping the Luigi, whatever his name was, or Officer Bar Brady. But
oh my god!
But still, like, it's one thing to have shitty gimmicks, but if you're gonna be good in the ring, then that's my exception. Like Pockets, I don't care who he's in the ring with, I'm not gonna enjoy his work. I'm just not. Like Tony Khan, you can try everything you can. It's been 3 years. I'm not gonna be convinced that Orange Cassidy is a fucking main event guy. Stop insulting my intelligence, for the love of God.
Yeah.
But as far as the Acclaim is concerned, I'll be honest with you, I was a skeptic of the Acclaim. I'm not going to run for it, but I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes. And they've actually got a good connection with the audience, and the rats from Matt's Caster have not been as bowling shoe ugly as recently. So it's an acquired taste. That's my answer to that question.
You know what my answer to that question is, Josh? Scissor me, Daddy Josh! Come on, man! I'm all about the Acclaim, man. I love the Acclaim, and like you said, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I thought they sucked not even a year ago, but I'm all about the gimmick, man, and it's working right now. They're white hot, and the crowd loves it. And if they're making money, then you can't argue with it. So I'm all about the Acclaim. I'm happy they won them titles.
Right. How about this one? Could we ever see a WWE/Impact show? I maybe an NXT and Impact show, but you probably do better business with an NXT Impact show than whatever Impact was doing AEW last year. So
Yeah.
That'd be my best guess. I don't see it happening, but if it was, I'd probably see NXT against Impact than main roster people.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I don't think there would ever be really any interest, and I don't know how you would create that interest anyway. I mean, maybe
Right.
Mickie James being the mending of the fence there, but I don't ever see that really happening.
Right. This is an interesting question here. This one's about How I Met Your Mother. He says, have you ever had a Stella in your life? I'm starting to realize that most of Ted's girlfriends weren't great people. Yes, I have. My last girlfriend is Stella-like, if you will. I don't know who's watched the show or not. If you haven't watched How I Met Your Mother, I just recommend it for the stuff Neil Patrick Harris stuff alone. That guy's a trip. But I love that show. It's probably my favorite TV show ever outside of like Sopranos or maybe Friends or something like that. But yeah, I've had people like that. And, you know, that's an interesting story about Ted's relationship and how he got to the girl that he was with. And that's an interesting story. Like the show, the premise was like Ted's life story to how he met his mother. They had 9 seasons, but nobody ever asked where's the mother in the time when they did those like spot where he's talking to the kids in between, right? You know, this has been going on for 9 years. You're like, where's the mother at? Why is he telling this story? You would know by then that the chick is dead. You know, sometimes the mother of your children are not always your soulmates. And I thought that was an interesting story and how Ted got to where he did at the end. And it's a really good show. But yeah, flakiness, you know, the chick Stella left Ted at the altar with her ex-husband. That's what happened in the show. And yeah, it's real life, man. Shit happens. And I look at those situations, it's like, you know, take that like punch in the jaw. You know, it's not a reflection on you, but sometimes life's gonna throw shit at you. How you gonna respond to it? You know, you could overcome anything. I don't care what the situation is. You could overcome any fucking thing, but you have to do it for yourself. Nobody else is gonna do it for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, people are gonna more times than not, people are gonna fight with themselves more than any damage anybody says about you or does to you. You are your own worst enemy at the end of the day, and you also have the power to be your best friend at the end of the day too. So, just wanted to remind people there. Okay,
That's hard facts right there, my friend.
yes. All right, let's see what we got here. He says, Do you think we'll see any really big / different matches at Wrestle Kingdom coming up this year? Unfortunately, no, man. I haven't been really much on the New Japan tip recently because they haven't been airing a lot of shows on their streaming platform. It's been like touring around different places doing house shows and shit. So I have to see how things play out with the World Tag League, which should be coming up soon. That's their big tag team tournament they do every year, Sam, before they go to Wrestle Kingdom. So I'm kind of curious where storylines go there. But as of right now, Okada is the G1 winner. He'll fight the IWGP champion at Wrestle Kingdom. So it looks right now it's him and Jay White. By the way, Jay White is awesome.
He's very, very good.
He's the man. So I guess you could say that's a new match, but we've seen that match a couple of times already. It's hard to say because, Kota Ibushi hasn't done anything. He's having his personal issues with New Japan, some legal stuff in that matter as well that I'm not going to get into. It's hard. I mean, how many times I have to sit through fucking Chaos and House of Torture trios or 8-man tag matches where we know the whole drill. House of Torture can have a proper tag match with their lives dependent on it. They're honestly, Sam, they are worse than the fucking Young Bucks. New Japan wrestlers are worse than AEW wrestlers.
That sounds like a hot take, my friend.
No, that's a fact.
Really? Wow.
It's Joe Dutch at best. So hopefully we see something different around the horizon. If you can do something big, like, having maybe Jonah fight Tanahashi, I think that'd be pretty cool. Something different like that. But as far as new stuff, probably not, unfortunately. Next question here. He says, who else would you like to see added to the North American title ladder match? Nathan Frazier, Oliver Carter's already in. That's the guy who beat Grayson Waller this week on NXT. His name is Oro Mensah, but it's Oliver Carter. I call him Oliver Carter from NXT UK. Fuck. Carmelo is already in the match as well, so he's in there already. Like you mentioned earlier, Jordan Devlin, I think that'd be cool if he was in the match. Those are the only ones off the top of my head. What about you?
I definitely think Jordan Devlin should be in there. So what? That would be 3. So we would need one more guy.
Andre Chase.
Hey man, I would never be mad at Andre Chase being in a high profile situation.
He's the man.
Yes, he definitely is. I don't know that you could throw what's his name? The Italian dude.
Oh, the Don. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D. Yeah, you could throw Tony D in there. I don't know.
Yeah. Just keep Joe Gacy away. Good.
God, that guy he's such a. When I first saw that dude, I'm like, is that like Kevin Owens wannabe? Like, what is this? It's like the redheaded stepchild in Kevin Owens' family or something.
Oh God, that's tremendous. All right, 2 more questions here. How often do you cry and just let things out? I don't cry a lot. It really takes me a lot to get to that point. No, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't cry. We all have our moments and shit where you just need that release, and I don't begrudge people who cry. I that whole machismo shtick and blah 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 blah. You know what is the true character of a man? How they carry themselves and how they follow through with their words and actions. It's not about if you're weak, if you show emotion or you're vulnerable or whatever. I don't look at it that way. Plus, it's not fucking 1930s anymore. I think we could evolve and actually show emotion and prevent ourselves doing damage to ourselves by letting shit fester inside and fester and fester. Because I don't care who you are. You let shit boil inside of you and you're lashing out at the wrong people because you can't handle your own shit. That's not their problem. It's your fucking problem. And as far as crying is concerned, I let it out when I need to. And sometimes I get I get reminded sometimes of my last relationship and something that didn't work out with Lauren. I hear that in songs, and sometimes that bums me out. But other times it's just if like something bad happens in my life. It's not like you're gonna see me crying once a week or something. I'm not that overly emotional, but that's just me.
Yeah, I cry. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm an emotional guy all around, not just when it comes to sadness or anything. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I don't cry often. I say, I don't know, maybe a couple times every couple months. But it's really, for me, it's when the stress just becomes too much, and you know, it could just be me. You know, after a long, hard day of work, and my wife comes down and sits next to me, and I don't know if like comfort or relaxation sets in at the same time that you're going through all this, so you just kind of let it out. But that's when it happens, really, for me. And then when it does happen, sometimes it's because I've had a little too much to drink. So, you know, the emotions come out depending on who you're with. But yeah, I'm not afraid to admit it, man. I cry. I'm a man. I'm a human being. It's simple as that.
And it's a little different for me. Like I don't have the greatest support system from my inner side of the family, with a few exceptions here and there. But like it's a shoot. Like a lot of my made friends, like Brother Carter and et cetera, a lot of them live out of town and stuff like that. So I don't really have that many people that I can like let that emotion out like in person and stuff like that. But I handle it in my own way, and I've been able to really like balance and really practice just self-awareness and just, you know, when I need to be vulnerable, I'm going to be vulnerable, but I'm not going to put myself in a position to be vulnerable to people. You have to earn that shit. For me, I don't trust people. I've been burned by enough people in my life, family, friends, etc. That for me, you have to earn for me to get to that point. So it's a great question, man. I'm glad you asked that because that's something that's not talked about enough. So I appreciate you, brother. Last question for the Q&A this week, and a great one as always. Would you like to see anyone else join the Judgment Day?
Good question.
For me, I say no. I like the group as it is right now, but if you want some serious shit in heat, put Seth Rollins.
Man,
guy.
He would have to be the instant leader, though.
No, actually, he is the leader. Think about all the extra heat that Dominic would get for joining up with Seth Rollins and all the shit that Seth did to him and his father.
It's true. The only person, I'm good with it the way it is right now. The only person that maybe you throw in there, how about Dominic Dijakovic?
That'd be good.
Yeah, that guy's too good. He needs to be doing something. I feel like he's gonna pop up somewhere pretty soon, whether it's with that White Rabbit shit or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, I'm not sure.
The Barb T. No.
Yeah.
I want to thank Mike, Chris, Pat, and Nate for some awesome ass questions. You guys killed it. Appreciate you guys as always. If you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit us up at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. All right, Sam, my man, before we get to our main event segment this week, let's go over a little bit of what went down this past week in WWE. You just mentioned the White Rabbit right there. I guess we should start off with this. One, what's your thoughts on it? And two, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because there's a back and forth argument right now about over analyzing, like not letting surprises happen versus, you know, putting the research and trying to dig into what's happening. Like, what side of the fence are you on that? And what's your thoughts on everything surrounding the White Rabbit thing?
I'm not really one to look into anything too much, like, you know, on the internet or rumors or whatever. But it is something that I like to conversate with friends that I have in a wrestling group chat. Just to hear what the overall consensus is. And I gotta tell you, man, I'm freaking stumped. There's a few ways that I think they could go, but I am not confident in any of those ways. What do you think, man? I'm pretty stumped.
I know right now it says something about 9/23, which is going to be tomorrow. Again, but there's SmackDown. I'm curious what it is too, and I know the popular thing is to find any hit that is Bray Wyatt, et cetera, et cetera. There's other references to other performers. I think it would be pretty funny from a trolling aspect if it has something to do with Cross, but he already has his stuff already, so we'll have to see how that plays. But as far as the stuff's concerned, what I like about it is the fact that it has people intrigued and they are actually invested in it, and I think it's a good thing. So how that plays out, hopefully it works out.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm definitely intrigued, and I like to say this often when it happens because it doesn't happen too often. When there's something in wrestling that you just can't predict, I feel like that's when it's the most fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because to hell with all these rumor websites and whatever, they don't even know right now. So I don't know. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see what it is. SmackDown, judging from the video, if 9/23 has to do with tomorrow, it kind of makes SmackDown a must-watch.
Yeah. It's a good, interesting grab. Now, here's the thing with the Bray Wyatt angle. I see it happening one way, and one way only. If it's Bray Wyatt, he's attacking Braun Strowman tomorrow.
Explain.
Who was the last person the Fiend was fighting before he got released?
Well, yeah, it's true. That would be damn interesting.
I just throw it out there. I mean, I know the stuff with the Randy Orton feud did not work out, but when Roman came back and he took the title from Bray and Braun Strowman, they were feuding with each other. And I think there's some business there. And there's a reason why Braun Strowman's there, but we haven't figured out who his first real feud is.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely something that I haven't really considered. That's you got me intrigued now, man. And I'm a big Bray Wyatt mark. So if it does have something to do with him, I'm all about it.
Yes. By the way, speaking of Braun Strowman, I love the camera work for SmackDown where oh my god, the fucking Maxwell Male Models coming out with their back to school collection, right? And they're doing the fucking runway, and then you see their eyes when Strowman's music hits. It's just perfect timing. Nobody does production like WWE. Like it's like boom, you start laughing your ass off with that double shoulder tackle. Just the timing of that was awesome.
Here's a little question for you. Why does Braun Strowman get so much damn hate? I've always loved his work.
I don't know why Killer Cross gets the hate he gets too.
Especially when he was late in NXT there at the end. I just couldn't understand it at all.
Well, I could get the Austin Theory stuff because you want to make him as Vince McMahon's scapegoat, but the guy's fucking good at his job. Yes. You're just because he's good at what he does in the ring.
Thanks.
So I don't know why people hate Braun Strowman. He's good. He brings a good, unique, different attraction to the business. It's not always about guys doing 450 destroyers and step up insigurities in every fucking match. Right. That doesn't constitute a good wrestler. But speaking of SmackDown, we're going to go ahead and play this clip from Cross's promo if we're good. Let's see, we got this right here. Let's play it right now.
This week, for the chosen one, Mr. McIntyre. He was publicly executed by the newly appointed People's Executioner. And now I first saw, and most appropriate, considering me, make his rises. Wrapped around his neck.
Oh, poor baby.
And what did you do then, Mr. When you fought back, but then you did what everybody else does. You let it go. And there's like this difference between you and those working. Because I don't let anyone go. I change the timelines. I rewrite history. And as for you, you are going to remain on an endless loop of suffering that I control. And I'm going to make sure, Mr. McIntyre, that you never get out. TikTok.
Love it.
Should have meant this. Really quick, going back to SmackDown. If you guys haven't seen the Fatal 4-Way tag match to the main event for SmackDown last week, fucking barn burner. Brawling Brutes won that one. It's been a good week for the Brawling Brutes. I mean, they had their match on SmackDown, and then I like the match they have with the Street Profits on Raw. And then tomorrow, it's recorded, they're fighting the Usos for the tag team titles. So it's been an interesting week there for the Brawling Brutes. We had 3 matches announced so far for Extreme Rules. We have Liv Morgan against Ronda Rousey, Extreme Rules match. We found out Bianca Belair will defend her title against Bayley. And then we got Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle in a fight pit.
Hell yeah. That'll be fun.
What was your thoughts on their little pull apart brawl and the whole fight pit thing? What's your thoughts on it?
I like it, man. For two guys that haven't always gotten along, they're doing some really cool shit on TV, and everything they've done has really worked. I don't know what it is about. I like when two people don't get along, and I like when they're able to come together and make some money off of it. Like Matt Hardy and Edge come to mind after the Lita shit went down years ago. I don't know. I just really like it right now.
Yeah, I'm very too where they're going to go with this. I told Pat, even you could do a Philly street fight or a unsanctioned match. Those were my 2 options, but I didn't even think Fight Pit was going to be in the scenario.
Oh, yeah.
If you could do a Fight Pit where it's on the other side of the arena, I think it'd be cool. I don't know if they'll do it taped or whatever, but I'm curious to see how they go about it. It should be. I like the Fight Pit matches they did at NXT. If you guys did see the one you had with Timothy Thatcher, that was
very good.
Yeah, really quick, going back to Raw, what stood out for you, good or bad this week for you?
Raw was pretty good for me. Not a whole lot stood out. I got to tell you, what do you think of Damage Control as a team right now? Because I like all 3 individually, but something with them right now just isn't hitting with me, and I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it.
I like the group. They've had some good success and stuff like that. It's nice to have Bayley back on the show. The only thing I say in a contrarian manner is that their theme song is JoJo.
Oh,
but
that is so bad, dude.
It's brutal. Outside of that, I don't think it's a reflection on them. I just think it's who they're feuding with.
Could be.
I think maybe it's because people thought Alexa and Asuka would be away from this situation after Clash of the Castle, but that doesn't seem to
I
be
definitely thought that.
So there's more that meets the eye to these type of situations. I'm glad that they're getting their opportunity and they're following through with it. It's not like a group that gets hot for a month and then you just forget about the next. So they're taking their time with this group. I think once Alexa and Asuka get separated from it, I think maybe you can get some more nuance out of the group. But they're there for a reason, so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get a match with Dakota and Io. So that's probably why they're still there.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing, though, that not really a criticism, but I'm kind of wondering about it. Dexter Lumis, that angle with The Miz, it seems like be carrying along with the same kind of narrative each week. I don't know if I'm getting antsy with the storyline, but I'm just trying to figure out where they're going with it and what Dexter Lumis's beef is with the Miz.
Well, I think, let's be honest, outside of Classic Castle, if we're counting like the last real pay-per-view, like SummerSlam, like Extreme Rules is not to October 8th. We've had a long time to get to an actual real like premium live event. Well, so this is part of the stuff that I mentioned before with Triple H. Like, not everybody has to be on the show every week, so you're not repeating the same points all the time. You know, you can give a feud like this a break. You could do a little highlight about it, but you didn't have to do Miz TV this week to keep it going. So that's what I think. But at the same time, it's not like Lumis is drawing viewers away.
Right.
People are interested in what he's doing. So it's a little double-edged sword there. But I get what you're saying. I think that's just a case of scenario. Sometimes when you have run feuds, not everybody has to be on the show every week.
Yeah,
and the fact
absolutely.
That it's like 3 weeks in and we still haven't figured out what he did to the Miz and why the Miz is so reluctant to not say anything. That's another thing too.
For sure.
But facial expressions, man, are on point, man. Like I'm not really into that creepy stalker horror movie shit. That's not my jig. So like, for me to enjoy, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree, and I've been a fan of Dexter. I was loving the index crap in NXT, and then what he's doing now with the Miz. That I'm good with it. I'm probably just a little antsy to see where it's going. And the last 2 points I want to make about Raw is just 2 things. Kevin Owens is the man, and Bobby Lashley is the man. Period. Those guys are great, man.
That Seth Rollins Bobby Lashley match was awesome.
Oh, it was killer.
But he denied the curb stop with his.
Oh man, that was a first, man. We never seen that before.
Yeah. The pedigree counters out of Spears always work. I thought that was cool.
One more thing, Kevin Owens. Continue using the pop-up powerbomb. I don't need to see the stunner anymore from Kevin Owens.
Yes. By the way, going back to Raw, I thought it was nice to see, it's going to be him and Johnny Gargano against the Alpha Academy next week. Raw's in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada next Monday, so it should be a good crowd out there. And shout out to the Judgment Day, man. They've been doing some good stuff over the last couple of weeks. I love Dominic. He's on his knees begging his dad to hit him with the chair. It's like, come on.
What is his thing with Rhea Ripley? Whatever it is, I like it.
Yeah, whatever it is, I'm an advocate for it. Yes.
I feel like Dominic is playing into what every male watching WWE would want to play into right now.
He's falling down the waterfall rabbit hole, man.
Oh yeah.
That guy was getting some mega boos.
Hey, that's good, man. That's really good.
Oh man, but
stuff.
outside that, like I was mentioning a couple minutes ago, nothing great, nothing horrible either for this week in WWE. It's just we got almost 2 weeks left for Extreme Rules, so it'll be here before you know it. So. We'll get some bigger matches announced, and curious to see what they do tomorrow because the Tribal Chief will be in the house in Utah, the home of Michael Jordan, where he makes the Jazz his bitches. So yes, the Tribal Chief will be in the house tomorrow, so it should be fun, and we'll see what happens with this White Rabbit thing. And
definitely interested in that.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the main event. Don't worry, we'll get to AEW Rampage, that brutal JoJo Dutch card in a couple of minutes. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, strap it down, as Hawk Harrelson would say. It's time for another restaurant quality edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW Let's start off this bad boy off with Brother Carter in a 3, 2, 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right goddamn now.
Man, what intensity.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
What the hell is wrong with AEW? You would think that for the show in Arthur Ashe Stadium, their big Grand Slam show, they would manage to get almost everything right, because this is a big show, gotta sell tickets, gotta make sure that you're doing something great that you've advertised, and it didn't live up to its expectations at all. Now, I will say, there was actually quite a few things that I enjoyed on this week's show, but there was also a lot of shit, because there's always a lot of shit. So let's get into it. Let's start with the things that I like. I will say it was pretty cool for the crowd to go nuts for Judas. That was pretty cool in the opening match with Claudio and Jericho. Cool to see the ROH announcer do the announcement, so I thought that was good. And then every time I see Cesaro do the big swing, I always think that that's pretty cool. So good for that. Man, I have 100% changed my opinion, and I am now all in on the Acclaimed. They won the Tag Team Championships this evening. I'm recording this on the evening before the podcast, right after Dynamite, and I was so happy. Like, I was legit excited for the Acclaimed. What a great moment for them. Now, I didn't like the finish of the match, which I'll get into here in a second, but they have won me over completely. The raps, this week's rap was fine, but when Bowens does the Acclaimed have arrived, it's pretty entertaining, and the crowd is totally into these guys. So congratulations to the Acclaimed winning the Tag Team Championships. Major pop for them, and major props for them winning the titles. That's great. And I thought the match was actually quite good with the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory. So congratulations to the Acclaimed. Awesome moment for two guys that have completely won me over. God, I loved MJF. Everything he does is just gold. His stuff coming out, confronting Wheeler Yuta, which I'll get into here in a second, and then also with Schiavone, which I'll get into that in a second as well. But God, everything MJF does is just magic. So another great promo from him. I can't believe they actually kept the title on Toni Storm, and we had a decent match there. And it was cool to see Saraya. Always loved seeing Saraya, or Paige as she was known in WWE, on my screen. Big fan. But that's where it stops, and we'll get into it here in a second. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really enjoyed the Moxley-Danielson match. It wasn't as good as Gunther and Sheamus was from Clash of the Castle, but this was just two guys beating the hell out of each other, and just a good old-fashioned fight with some wrestling mixed in. So I really enjoyed the Moxley-Danielson match. But we'll get into the ending of that match here in just a minute. Okay, that was the good stuff. Now let's get into the shit, because, oh boy, there was a lot of shit. And the first shit we have to start with is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is awful. He is just, there's nothing other way to say it. He is just a terrible, terrible wrestler now, and he has to stop. He's awful. His timing is terrible. He doesn't have good timing in the ring anymore. Anytime he tries to be the heel, it doesn't mean anything, because it's just being a jerk for the sake of being a jerk. Like I said, his timing is awful, and he's just he can't sell. He doesn't sell for anything. His sell jobs are just awful, and it's just awful. And AEW puts the belt on Jericho. What an embarrassment for AEW, especially for Ring of Honor. Like, this company, Tony Khan clearly does not care about Ring of Honor. He's just trying to run it into the ground, because they put the belt on this absolute asshat, Chris Jericho. What an embarrassment for him. What an embarrassment for Claudio. I hope this gets Claudio out of his contract and he can go back to being Cesaro in WWE, because this was just awful. Okay, so the next thing, the Acclaimed won the tag team championships, which I'm happy with. I did not like the finish in this at all. The finish was so basically these guys who are trying to put over his faces had to cheat to win the tag team titles, and it wasn't like Eddie Guerrero cute cheating. It was like Billy Gunn giving a famouser on the outside who really has no connection with the Acclaimed. He's been there for like 2 weeks, and then clearly Swerve is a heel, or they're trying to turn Swerve and Lee heel. Lee is not going to be, Lee's a face, but Swerve's going to end up being heel. Fine. But now they've got an excuse to have a third match of this because the faces had to cheat to win. So I hated the finish in this. That part about it was no good. The rest of the match was fine. I actually enjoyed that. Speaking of Billy Gunn, his kids are terrible. The ass boys are terrible. They cut a worthless promo on FTR backstage. Like, is anybody supposed to believe that the ass boys have a chance against FTR? MJF has proved what Josh has been saying all along about Wheeler Yuta. He is as generic as they come. Boy, nobody knows how to bury talent and make them irrelevant like Tony Khan. They're trying to build up Wheeler Yuta with the Blackpool Combat Club. MJF comes out and basically destroys him in a matter of 2 minutes and makes Wheeler Yuta absolutely worthless. And then Shivani took the worst bump ever, and they're trying to sell it off. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I had the doctor check me out or whatever. That was a terrible bump, and I get Shivani shouldn't be taking bumps, and MJF shouldn't have done that, and that's fine. But that's all on Tony Khan and AEW for making Shivani take that terrible bump. It was awful. But yeah, Wheeler Yuta has been reduced to nothing, and MJF basically destroyed him in a matter of seconds. I guess the match with Pac and Orange Cassidy was fine, but Orange Cassidy's gimmick has run its course. It's terrible, it's uninteresting, it's boring. Also, I thought Pac was a face with Death Triangle, but he had to cheat to win his match too. I guess this is Face's cheat night. I don't know. I can't figure out what the hell is going on with their booking in AEW. Why is Serena Deeb all of a sudden with Britt Baker? Apparently she's part of Britt's team now, and she deserves so much better than that. She's way better in the ring and as a character than Britt Baker is, but she joined them in the beatdown before Saraya comes out. Speaking of Saraya, look, cool to see her, happy that she has a job, and Tony Khan's going to pay her an exorbitant amount of money, because that's what that no-talent ass clown does. But she's going to be relegated to AEW Dark Elevation real soon. She's going to get the same treatment as Madison Rayne, bringing her in to get a major pop, and then is going to get pushed off to the side for nothing. So, unfortunately, Tony Khan is going to ruin Saraya, and ruin Saraya, Paige, whatever you want to call her. Tony Khan will ruin her within about a month. So, again, happy to see her, but she's going to end up being just another wasted talent in another wasted ex-WWE talent in AEW. And then we get the Moxley-Danielson match. Like I said, I enjoyed that. But, of course, they put the belt back on Moxley. That's apparently, the go-to with anything. I don't know what we do. Throw the belt on Moxley. Not put it on Danielson or MJF or something like that, Nope, we don't know what to do. I'm not Moxley. And just throw the belt back on Moxley. And that's what they did. He's now a 3-time champion. Fine. We'll see what he does going forward. Again, I enjoyed the match. If he just does his wrestling, it's fine. But we know he's not capable of that. He's got to do the blood. He's got to do the guts. He's got to do all that stuff. And unfortunately, that's going to get in the way of this run. So this was a better episode of Dynamite this week, but there were still so many booking decisions that don't make a lot of sense because this company and this clown that's running it have no idea what they're doing. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Thank you, Sir Dericho, for your submission this week. I appreciate you, brother, as always. Make sure to follow Burn Carter on Twitter if you can at Derek Stoughton. Make sure to check out his work, DerekStoughton.com. Brother's busy, man. I think Burn Carter will be back here next week with a video version. So keep your eyes out for that. I'll let you guys know if we have a live show next week. But as we do this, it's time for everybody's favorite segment. It is What the Hell's Wrong with AEW. Comes to you free of charge. You're not going to get this segment anywhere in the wrestling landscape. It should be nominated for Emmy. I will say that, at least the radio.
Absolutely.
Sam, this is not your first voyage in What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. If I'm not mistaken, you've done this before. You know the drill. For you, how much do you enjoy the segment, and what do you take away from it?
Well, I love What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. It's so I'll tell you what, I turn your show on every Friday morning at work when I hop on the Jolly Good forklift, and it's just something that it not only does it like get me going and get me like in a better mood, it's just something that makes my Friday like that much better. It's the best segment in wrestling podcasting, man. It's just the way it is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. It's AEW Dynamite Grand Slam at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Whoopity fucking do! As per ritual here with the segment, I usually like to start off with the positives so we don't get the you're an AEW hater stuff. So we'll start off with the positives that went down last night in Queens. Brother Sam, I'll start with you. What did you like from the Mutt Show last night?
There was actually a few things that I actually enjoyed. Keith Lee and Shane Strickland versus the Acclaimed, that tag title match. It was the right move. I mean, let's just be honest. Whether you're an Acclaimed fan or not, it's just the right money move, I guess you would say right now.
Yeah.
The Acclaimed, they deserve it. It was a great match. Another thing I actually enjoyed was Moxley versus Danielson. Hard-hitting match. I'm a big Moxley guy.
Yes.
Danielson, I've always respected what he does in the ring. Not the biggest fan or anything, but there was a few those matches for me were really good. Pac versus Orange Cassidy. I love Pac. I do. I always have. Even when he is the man. He did his best with Orange Cassidy. Let's just say that. And then MJF. What can I say? Well, MJF is the man. He's the best in the business. That's really it. That's all I got for the goods.
It's not a lot to pick out of.
No.
When it comes to AEW, we are a testament to that. Okay, I'll start with the stuff I did like. First off, I agree with you. I enjoyed the tag title decision. I'll get more to that in a little bit of what I didn't like, but capitalizing on the moments at the right time. I thought they dropped the ball, not giving them the titles at all. So happy for the Acclaim, and if anything, that's more of an indictment of how much of a flop Swerve and Keith Lee have been in AEW so far. It's not a glowing endorsement. Yeah, I get it. Tony Khan shelled out a lot of money to bring out Fabulous on the stage with them, but that's not indicative of anything good they've been doing, to be honest with you. I loved the MJF segment. Absolutely loved it. Even though it was probably not the time to do it because I don't know who the fuck wants to watch Wheeler useless on their TV. But if anything, as Brother Carter told me in our message board last night, he told me everything MJF has validated what I said about Wheeler useless. He's generic as the cows come home, and it was a verbal burial of all burials.
He told zero lies.
Exactly. I like seeing Saraya because good waterfalls, so I'll add that to the list.
I definitely should have said that. I love Paige, so I'm all about that.
And no JR on the broadcast. So that's another positive and the last positive for me. And that's a shame for me to say that, being the JR mark that I am. So let's go down that rabbit hole. Let's go into the shit. With all due respect for Taz, I think less is more. I wasn't sure if it was him or Corey Graves out there last night, because that motherfucker loved the sound of his voice last night too. Holy shit, man! His mouth just kept going and going and going. Like, this is the thing too. If you're gonna do, let's start off with this, because this is what kicked off the show, and I think the ratings for this episode was indicative of the dumb decisions that went down on the show. So, with everything going on, you want the hot moment with the Acclaim to start off the show. That's how I would have done it.
Yep.
Get your hot moment. We got a hot match, start off there. But no, we start off with Claudio Castagnoli against Bret Michaels for the Ring of Honor World Shit. So, as Sam, you're not seeing the video here right now, but as we're talking, Sam is having the face palm and all that, and to say I don't even know what to say is an understatement for how fucking stupid this was. All around, it wasn't even just the decision. First off, if you're gonna have Ring of Honor time matches and you're having Ring of Honor people on the broadcast, have them do the fucking call. Like, why is Excalibur calling Ring of Honor world title matches? We get enough of excrement every fucking week. Is it a bad thing that you don't want Kevin Kelly or Ian Riccaboni to outshine Excalibur, because that's exactly what would happen in these scenarios? Holy shit. And then Bret Michaels, because he can't stay in the ring anymore. It's just about, you're not good and competent as a wrestler when you need to have 50% of your match on the floor and need to use bullshit to win matches. So his cool idea is to disrespect Ring of Honor and knock down Kerry Silken, who has to be like 80 fucking years old. Does any casual fan, if you watch AEW for the first time, does anybody know who the fuck Kerry Silken is?
I didn't know who that was yesterday.
Exactly. And Conan has this thing on his podcast when somebody comes out, he doesn't know. He's like, who? That's what I did too. So it's like me and Sarah talked about this before the show came out yesterday. I was like, does anybody give two shits about Ring of Honor? Why is Ring of Honor kicking off your show in Arthur Ashe Stadium? And then we got Aubrey Edwards.
Oh boy.
Oh God. VR goggles are not enough for Aubrey Edwards at this point. I don't know if there's any rectal fucking thing you could use to fix her fucking vision when it comes to officiating wrestling matches. It doesn't matter if it's a tag, a singles, a blindfold match, a Stevie Wonder match. She can't fucking officiate for shit.
Well, yeah, you know why? And you could tell yesterday from during the match, she's trying to find the fucking camera the whole time. She's trying to be in the fucking camera.
Bro, she's telegraphing, waiting for the fucking low blow to happen. She is the worst.
The drizzling shits.
Honestly, you could have the fucking Invisible Man against the Invisible Man, and she still would fuck up that match too. Oh, God. And then the gravitas, the coup de grace of this opening match, we have Chris Jericho beating Claudio Castagnoli, and now he's your Ring of Honor World Champion. One, I don't give a shit whether or not Ring of Honor got a new TV deal, because guess what? They're going to draw the same as, or even less numbers than fucking Rampage does. Secondly, having Chris Jericho win the title is a spin in the face for everybody in Ring of Honor before they got purchased by AEW. Honestly, I would give a standing ovation for Jonathan Gresham for acknowledging what was going to happen before he left and call out Tony Khan on this shit. And lastly, and certainly not least, all these years, these fucking marks on Twitter are like, oh my God, Claudio, he needs to be the world champion. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. But they're fucking on their pom-poms applauding Chris Jericho becoming the world champion. I tell you, AEW can sell these freaking Nimrods anything they want, and they'll buy it hook, line, and sinker. Tell me how this benefits anybody in Ring of Honor, and how is this a good look to your fucking roster because Jericho kissed Tony Khan's ass at the all-out media scrum. That's the only reason why he's the champion right now.
And you know what? It's a goddamn shame, too, because I've always been a big Claudio guy, and I had no vision of him losing the title last night. And when the pinfall happened, I just found myself with my hands in my face, and I tweeted, I sent my buddy a message, and I said, man, this fucking company sucks. Dude, what kind of decision is that? I feel so goddamn bad for Claudio, man. He works his ass off. He finally gets this opportunity with the Ring of Honor belt, and Chris fucking Jericho takes it off of him. Dude, like I told you yesterday, Tony Khan has made Ring of Honor look worse than Vince McMahon made WCW guys look when they came to WWE. It's just the way it is. They're secondary. It sucks.
Honestly, I bet you any money Ring of Honor, whatever they get their TV deal, they'll draw the same numbers as Impact does.
You might be right.
TV. You can't get out of your own way, and that's.
I wanted to turn the damn show off right after that first match. Honestly.
Yeah, like what tone do you want that to set up for your audience watching that shit? Fucking Bret Michaels try to convince himself that he's still a top tier wrestler. Everybody's like, "Oh, Jericho found the beef." Look who he's in the fucking ring with. They could wrestle fucking brooms. That's not extra brownie points for Chris Jericho.
Here's the fucking problem, though, Josh. They ate it up in the stands. The pop was huge when Jericho won the belt. What are we doing here?
I mentioned about Aubrey Edwards, and it's really something that Tony Khan had to put on Twitter before we recorded the show today, that screws need to be tightened with the officiating. What a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, it's been 3 years. What the fuck we doing here?
Just say you don't care.
Exactly. And tell me that wins and losses matter, because that's bullshit too. Didn't Chris Jericho just tap out to Bryan Danielson last week on Dynamite, but now he's the Ring of Honor World Champion?
Boy. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Danielson takes it off of him at some point.
Yeah, probably. Pac and Orange Cassidy did not care for it 1 minute. I thought the match went way too long for what it's going to be. I thought the whole angle last week where Orange Cassidy, who's supposed to be a babyface, does the Superman punch from behind to Pac while he's talking to Officer Bar Brady. Wasted time. Get pockets off my fucking TV and stop having Pac fight these damn clowns if you want us to care about this AEW I'm full of shit global championship.
Well, here's the thing. After watching that first match, I was just fucking waiting for Pockets to win the match. Oh, yeah, I was just waiting for it. And it would have made me sick. I'm a big Pac guy, and I'm glad he didn't lose. I'll just say that.
What would have been your reaction if he did win, though?
Josh, I don't think I'd be able to do this segment right now because I would have shut it off. Honestly, dude, I don't think I would have been able to watch another second.
I don't blame you. I really don't. All right. I saw somebody last night. Man, this was the greatest edition of Dynamite ever. And the greatest edition of Dynamite ever. What does that tell you about AEW in general? Now, don't get me wrong. So last night was more tolerable for the regular show that we usually get. I'm not going to come here and say that the show was the drizzly shits from top to bottom, but I call a spade here with this segment here. I'm not trying to get brownie points for the wrestling Twitter bubble. I don't give a shit about that. They think AEW's Teflon. They're above criticism. I'm not into that shit.
Nope.
I try to keep it fair with everybody, but if I'm gonna see shit, I'm gonna call it for what it is. For example, this Fatal 4-Way Women's match, Clusterfuck Jones. This is the third straight week where we've had a match featuring Toni Storm and Britt Baker, where it's had some odd finish with a roll-up or something to conclude the match. Are the Eagles that fucking big in that locker room that they can't take a clean pinfall?
Man, I don't know. Let me say this. First and foremost, the women tried, man. They're working hard up there, but it's just such a fucking cluster. And then you got people getting hurt. Like, oh, that's news. People in AEW getting hurt. Man, that's something new.
Yeah. Saraya coming out as an indictment at the state of the women's division in AEW. It is. I love that she's back, and I wish her nothing but the best if she can wrestle. And I don't know what the whole details are. I've been a big fan of Paige. She was my favorite female performer in WWE when she was active. I've always been a fan of hers. For her as a person and as a wrestler, for the stuff she's overcome and the strength she's shown and courage and stuff like that. But, you know, my issue with this is not about her or anything involving her. But again, this is an indictment. You need to bring somebody who's not even clear to wrestle yet for a pop. And what does that say about your women's division? Ruby Soho is irrelevant. That was supposed to be a game changer, right?
and there's another thing. If she does wrestle, how confident are you that she's going to be safe with the amount of injuries that take place during these matches, you know?
Exactly.
That worries the hell out of me.
And you can't wrestle Serena Deeb every week. And don't get me wrong, Serena's a good wrestler, but there's nothing entertaining about her where she's doing like fucking 10 different transitions of submission moves every 5 seconds. Like, she doesn't let any of her stuff breathe in the ring. And it's like, all right, it's fancy to show off, but why should I give a shit about you? Yeah. All right, let's get to the main event. We talked about MJF earlier, the promo segment. That was fantastic. The audio's out there in the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. I thought the match for me, and I appreciate physicality. I do. I'll tell you this, Sam. I went to this match, and I was hoping to be proven wrong, that it would pull like some emotion out of me, but it didn't. The moment I saw MJF sitting in that suite, my interest in the match went away. I was indifferent towards this match going in when it was first announced because I already seen this match. I know what it looks like. Them doing 6 chop exchanges and stuff like that doesn't wow me. I already seen it already. The other thing that was taken away from me from the match, to be honest with you, was the commentary.
Yeah.
The whole, literally, Taz, every fucking 2 minutes is like, hey, don't forget, we got an overrun coming. Bro, the show went off at 9:01. What overrun? Stop falling for that trap, guys. Oh, we heard from Tony Khan. This match can go as long as it needs to. It never goes an overrun. I feel bad for Tony Khan's girlfriends because he always promises things but never delivers.
Oh, no.
Holy shit, man.
2-minute man.
2-minute man, better.
See, I didn't have a problem with that match. Like we have seen it before.
Fine, but does it change anything?
Well, no. Well, the right guy won though for me.
Yeah, that was my thing too. I did not want to see Karen Danielson with the title. I didn't. I want to get your thoughts on this really quick as we wrap up this segment. I'll go off on Tony Khan in a couple of minutes because I just need to get off my chest. But we saw a report this morning. I don't know if you heard about this yet. about CM Punk possibly not wrestling in AEW and a potential buyout. Did you see it? What's your thoughts on it?
I did see it. I mean, it's probably the right move, right? I like I said on last Saturday on my show, I don't think he's worth it, man. I really don't. At how old is he? He's 40.
42.
42. So at 42 years old, he's been out of the business for so long. He's been back for about a year and in and out from injuries. With the amount of trouble that comes along with CM Punk, is it really worth it to have I don't want to be harsh, but I'm going to be a shell of a former very good wrestler on your roster? What is that worth for you?
As the saying goes, the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
It's not.
Hey, don't take our word from it. Let's hear from Kevin Nash, who had some interesting comments today.
You know what? My buddy tagged me in the video, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I'm gonna be doing that right after this show.
Yes, let's play this.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
Phil's tired. He's beat up.
But you were in the ring at what, 55 or something?
I was in the ring at 55, and he was cutting the promo on me. Click, click, I can hear your knees. LOL, thought you were dead. Yeah, that motherfucker's cutting that promo on me, and he sits there at 42 years old. Fucking, I guess in retrospect, when I actually thought about it, I'm like, oh no, he didn't lose his shit. That's toxic fucking shock. He didn't pull his tampon out. He's fucking got toxic shock syndrome. I thought about that. I said, motherfucker. I said, I looked up, I Googled him. I said, 40 fucking 2. Dude didn't wrestle for 10 fucking years. It's like a 75 Eldorado with 102 miles on it. Motherfucker, don't tell me you're tired. Don't tell me you're 75. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, dude. That was legendary.
As a CM Punk fan, I can't say that he said anything wrong. All right, I'm going to wrap this up with this because we're going to wrap it up in a couple minutes. Again, and I find it ironic. This always happens when the bigger shows come around. Man, Tony Khan walks around like his shit don't stink, man. Where is this week's comments about, New York is the real crown jewel of wrestling markets, not some BS in Saudi Arabia. By the way, more people are going to remember Crown Jewel this year than Grand Slam. Let's start off with that. Secondly, him with his subtle gifs and snarky tweets he puts out on Twitter whenever WWE has a ratings thing. Like him, getting his palms up because they struggled against 2 Monday Night Football games the other day was fucking embarrassing. To be honest with you. By the way, Sam, you want to know how much the ratings were this week for Dynamite, and we rarely ever talk about ratings this week?
What were they?
1 million.
Oh, what a surprise!
Down from 1.2 the prior week. By the way, I heard people with opinions that I respect tell me that Grand Slam was going to reach 1.3 and possibly 1.4 million viewers this week. I even heard somebody say they're going to beat Raw in the demo. How about that? Grand Slam could have beat Monday Night Raw against 2 Monday Night Football games. Brothers, there's levels to this shit, man. You are nothing more than a male version of Dixie Carter. Wake up and smell the fucking roses, my man. On that note, that is... Go ahead, Sam.
No, I just need a breather after that, man. I love the rant. That's great.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of What the Hell's Wrong with the AEW. All right, folks, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for another fun episode of the Hoots Podcast. Episode 328 is in the books. Sam, tell everybody where they can find you on social media and your podcast.
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Second City Sam. Same with Instagram. Add me as a friend on Facebook. I'm on all that stuff. Keep an eye out for my podcast. It is called Second City Sam's Hot Takes. Mostly sports, any sports, wrestling. Yeah, that's really about it, my friend. I'd like to thank you for having me on. It's always a blast shooting the shit with you, and can't wait to do it again soon.
Yeah, man, I love you, bro. You killed it today, as always. Folks, make sure, by the way, support Brother Carter's work as well at DerekStoughton.com. You'll hear him in a couple of seconds for a brand new Thoughts of Dericho. See what's on his brain threshold. I can't really guess what goes through the brain of the director of operations. I don't wish that on anybody. But Brother Carter may be back next week. We'll have to see. But folks, you can follow me on Twitter if you like at the Hoots Podcast. I'm on Instagram at Joshie Lopez Media. Check out ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And please just do me a favor. If you guys are on YouTube or you're new, share it with your friends. Tell them to subscribe to the channel. If you press the bell option, you get notified when new episodes are uploaded, or if I do a bonus special like I did with Steve Muhlhausen a couple weeks ago following that CM Punk embarrassment of the city of Chicago and all out. And then who knows, maybe I may drop a guitar cover here and there. By the way, we can give a shout out to Jordan Davis for this week's song. Next Thing You Know, which is his new single that just came out the other day. It's a very good song. You guys hear the audio version of the podcast. And yes, hope you guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy some football. There is an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view I have to cover tomorrow night, so I won't be watching SmackDown live. But if you want to see my coverage of Victory Road, you can see it on my website. And leave us a 4 or 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps expand the reach of the show. And remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates and pays your life but yourself and the man upstairs. For Sam, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 328 of the Hoots Podcast. Let's send it off to Brother Carter for this week's edition of the Thoughts of Dericho. Yes, sir.
And now, the Thoughts of Dericho. Listen well, man. Welcome, one and all, to the segment that hates being via satellite. It is the Thoughts of Dericho, featuring the one, the only, Brother Carter. Once again, I apologize I can't be with you this week, but I will be making my triumphant return to the podcast next week. Can't wait to be back with all of you discussing all the things in professional wrestling. I didn't have a chance to watch much wrestling this week, just had a lot of busy stuff going on, but I do want to talk about some of the things that I did happen to notice throughout the week in some interviews and stuff that I saw. So starting with SmackDown, obviously the big news coming out of SmackDown looks like Logan Paul and Roman Reigns will be going at it at Crown Jewel in November, and already people are like, oh my god, Logan Paul gets to wrestle Roman Reigns, how is that fair? Dude, just relax. Logan Paul is very entertaining, he does a good job in the ring, and look, would you rather at a big show at Crown Jewel another one of your favorite superstars to lose to Roman Reigns? Because Roman Reigns is not losing at Crown Jewel. So what are they going to do? Feed him Kevin Owens? And then when he loses, people will be upset? They feed him Finn Balor? And when he loses, people will be upset? Get somebody in there who you know you can beat, or who you know who's going to get beat, and it's fine. Still going to have a good match. It's going to be entertaining. This is fine. Everybody relax. It's fine. All right. Let's see. So Ricochet defeats Sami Zayn, which I think is interesting. I love the dissension between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. That will eventually come into a head. I could see Sami Zayn costing Roman Reigns the championship. Maybe that's how you get it off of him at some point. I don't know when or how they do that, but I definitely think that would be a good way to do it. Again, not a huge fan of Braun Strowman showing off his, and I love Braun Strowman, don't get me wrong. But of his dominance coming at the expense of the tag team division, I just don't like that, and I want them to do something different going forward with that. But great to see Braun Strowman back in the ring, of course. Looks like Shotzi's going to be turning face. I like it. Maybe she's always needed to be a face. She needs to get the helmet and the tank going. It was over in NXT. Let's get it back going on the main roster and see if she can connect with the fans. Liv Morgan challenging Ronda Rousey to an Extreme Rules match. Very interesting. Liv has got to have a plan, and I can't wait to see what that plan is going to be. But I like this evolution with Liv Morgan and her trying to take her character to the next level, so I think that's good, and we'll see what they can do with that going forward. But very, very, very interesting that that's the route that they decide to go. We'll get Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross, and that's great. And, of course, Solo Sikoa doing his thing against Madcap Moss. I love me some Solo Sikoa. He had to vacate the title, the NXT North American Championship on NXT this week, which I was kind of sad about. I was hoping they'd do some cross-promotional stuff, but I get it. You know, it's clear Solo Sikoa is on the main roster now, on either Raw and SmackDown. So, but that was cool. That it's shocking that he came in, got his NXT North American Championship win, and then vacated title. That's cool. And then also, I like the idea of the Brawling Brutes taking on the Usos. A fun new matchup, and actually one where the Usos could be in trouble. You know, that's of all the teams that are available. And listen, I love Hit Row. I said this last week. I am a big fan of Hit Row. I don't know why. There's something about them that I'm just digging. But this was the right call here. Getting the Brawling Brutes with a fresh matchup against the Usos. That should be a ton of fun. Maybe Sami Zayn costs Usos the tag team titles. That could be something that happens too. Let's talk about Raw real quick, and I'll just scroll through Raw really quickly. Again, not a whole lot to talk about. Of course, great stuff with Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. We knew that was going to be terrific. KO taking his character to the next level. The stuff with him and Austin Theory is just awesome. I love it. All what they're doing is just fantastic. Looks like we're going to get more Theory and Johnny Gargano, which will be great. They could have a great match, maybe at Extreme Rules, and that'll be fine. Let's see. I did watch because I heard about the heat that Dominic Mysterio was getting from the crowd. That was pretty good. He was getting I was watching Vicky Guerrero type heat. So, man, keeping it in the family, right? No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah. So good stuff. Well, and Dominic Mysterio, the only thing that would have made that promo better is if Dominic Mysterio would have just been like, these fans aren't worth my time, and just handed the mic away. The only thing that would have made that better. But I love the heat that Dom's getting. It means it's working. I've heard rumblings that Alexa Bliss, and I really do hope this happened. A lot of people don't like this, but I hope that Alexa Bliss will re-embrace the Fiend character. I've heard some potential rumblings that they may be trying to do that and trying to do some things where she taps more into that supernatural side of her, which I love. I'm all about that. I thought her with the Fiend was amazing. I can't wait. I hope that the Fiend comes back and we get to see more of them together in front of actual crowds. It's tough to do in a pandemic with all that stuff going on, so I hope we get to see that again. I think that would be terrific. So we'll see. And Bayley and Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at Extreme Rules. That's going to be great, and the match that needed to happen. So good stuff there. Good stuff from WWE this week. I'll be back with you all next week to talk about all the things for real, and it should be a lot of fun. Those are the thoughts of Dericho this week. I hope everybody has a great week. My final thoughts have to do with the NFL. I got hosed in fantasy football these last couple weeks. I need to figure out a game plan to get everything rocking and rolling, but I will tell you, the Bills look unstoppable. Holy crap, they look good. I picked them to win the Super Bowl at the beginning, and after seeing their performance this week, how can you disagree with me? This has been the Thoughts of Dericho. You're smarter now, man.